basically, so the story of this car. So I bought it in Richmond. Nobody knew what 1LE cars were, because there was only 106 this car, 106 1LE cars built in 1995. Yeah. Whereas a 2018 1LE, I think there's about almost like 1,700 to 1,800 cars built every year. So that's 1,800 cars versus 100 cars.
Yeah.
Which is crazy, you know. So when I first went to the dealership in Richmond, I test drove 2 cars that day. I test drove a black 4th gen LT1 with T-tops, leather, fully loaded.
Yeah.
I drove it. It was a 6-speed. I wanted a 6-speed. So when I test drove the black one, it was fast compared to what I had. I had a Mustang at the time, so it was fast compared to my Mustang.
Yeah,
so
Chevy
I test drove the black one, and then the black one was a little bit out of my price range. So the dude was like, he was like, hey, do you want to take a look at this blue one? And I'm like, oh, you have a blue 6-speed too? And he said, yeah, and blue's my favorite color. So I said, yeah, show it to me. So the dude shows me the blue one, and as soon as I sat in it, I realized it didn't have air conditioning. And I was like, it's a Z28, obviously. So I'm like, Z28s came standard with air conditioning in 1995. So I sat in the car. I said, oh, this doesn't have air conditioning? He goes, nah. And it's the owner of the dealership. He goes, no. He goes, that's why I can't sell it. Because it's been sitting on the lot for like about 3 months now. Because it has air conditioning, nobody's interested in it.
Yeah.
So now my dude at the time, he knew a lot about Chevrolet Camaro. So I called him up. I didn't buy the car that day because I didn't want the dealer to kind of like know that like I was so into it because it had a special
package for sure. And rape you on the price.
So I left.
Yeah.
I left that day and I called my boy and he said, do me a favor. He said, go in the glove box, open the glove box and look at all the RPO codes because it's inside the glove box like it always is. He said, look at the RPO codes, and if it says 1LE on the RPO codes, he said, Jay, buy that car. That car doesn't have, there's very few of those made. They're designed for racing. A lot of guys like to convert them to auto.
Mid-90s 1LE right here, guys.
Yep.
Look at this, diamond in the rough.
I bought it, man, so my boy said, buy that car. So I went back there, and I bought it for $16,200 in 1995.
Dude, crazy.
Crazy. $16,200, dog. 275 horsepower came with stock. And I just started modifying over the years. Like I said, it had a 6-speed when I first bought it. Yeah. So I did an automatic a manual to automatic conversion on the car. Okay. So I converted it from a 6-speed manual to a T50. I'm sorry, from a 6-speed manual T56 to a 3-speed auto turbo 400.
Okay, the turbo 400 you went with, all right.
I had a Moser Ford 9-inch in the rear of the car when it was doing all its wheel stands. I had a Moser Ford 9-inch, which is an indestructible rear end. I'm gonna be ordering another one of those motherfuckers.
Hey guys, and on YouTube, who's listening to this story, this thing used to do some major wheelies. I'm gonna go ahead and splice in a couple of those runs. Definitely. Pinks all out, everything like that. I'm talking about like 9 o'clock, 10 o'clock. This car was like that. Hell he was a shit, you know what I'm saying? All gas, no brakes.
Yep. This car was a legend back in California, Northern California for like a long time because of illegal street racing when it was big. And then the cops kind of put a shutdown on it for a while. So basically what happened, I got this car to run 9.0 at 156. I had a nitrous motor in it. Yeah. Once we got it to stop doing wheel stands, I put wheelie bars on it, which made the car more drivable. Because like wheel stands are fun for the crowds and shit like that, but honestly inside the car, the shit's scary as fuck.
Oh,
like,
for sure.
You basically, when you do a wheel stand, a car has like, 1,000, 1,200 horsepower.
You gotta have some balls for that, man.
You gotta, you know what? Honestly, man, people have asked me because I did a couple of wheel stands in this car, a couple of like big ones. Yeah. And honestly, man, if you lift, you're fucked. Like if you lift, the worst thing to do is lift. Yeah. Because when you lift, you cut all the power to the rear tires, and then the front of the car just crashes down.
Yeah, for sure. So I've seen some hard slams.
Correct. So you really have no choice but to drive through it. Yeah. You just got to have balls. You just got to drive through it. So so what I did with this car is, number one, it had a turbo 400 in it. Turbo 400s are 3-speed autos. They're notorious for wheeling because they have a really tall first gear. Mm-hmm. So with this next car, I think I'm going to go to a Power Glide, just because you never see Power Glide cars wheel stand.
Yeah, for sure.
And I'm doing a turbo, so I shouldn't have the same issue with turbo versus nitrous, because turbo cars rarely wheelie off the line because I can basically ramp in the boost.
Yeah, exactly.
A nitrous
car,
car,
spool up, take off, whatever. But
the problem with nitrous cars, and this is why you see nitrous cars wheel stand, is because there's no ability to slowly feed in power. Most people,
it's just boom.
Most people let off trans brake, car goes. And with this car, 10-inch tires, a torque arm suspension. This car has a Spone torque arm on it. It's gonna have a Spohn torque arm on it again when I put it back on the track.
Yeah.
Torque arm cars can hook, man, on any 10-inch tire. This car will hook on a fucking ice rink. So I don't really need to do much to the rear suspension. But again, I'm gonna go with a turbo. The motor that was in this car, when you see in all those wheel stand videos, that motor still exists. That motor is sitting down in Sassoon right now.
Okay.
Ready to go. The only thing I don't have for it is heads and a manifold, which is good because head-to-head technology and manifold technology have come a long way in 10 years.
For sure.
So I'm gonna buy the fucking latest shit that's out.
Yeah.
So I'm gonna probably put AFR 227 eliminators on this car.
All right.
Again, I came from a nitrous setup, so it's 12-to-1 compression.
Okay.
So I can't put a 12-to-1 compression turbo motor together
Yeah.
unless I fucking run alcohol. So that's the plan.
All right.
So I'm gonna put the car in straight alcohol, no E85. It's gonna run straight ethanol.
Yeah.
I'm gonna be burning motherfuckers' eyes out.
Hey, you gotta do what you gotta do,
Gotta do
man.
what you gotta do.
Get those numbers.
Yeah, man. But yeah, this shit's gonna be sick, son. It's gonna be sick.
Yeah. You got the JL audio right here with the 6th gen. Shut up.
Yeah. Like I got my 6th gen. My 6th gen. You can look at the stereo install on my 6th gen was real good, and they did it in Napa at Audio House.
Yep.
So you can see off
Look
to
at
the
that.
left. The sub is all super
Yep.
super clean.
Mm-hmm.
The amp is underneath. They did the fucking amp install.
Yeah. Plenty of chunk space left
Yeah,
in
man, look
here.
at that. They did
Look.
it. It's
Look
all
at that.
super super clean.
Yeah, it is. It's just nice.
Yeah, man.
Mm-hmm.
Yep.
Give you a little bit bang. I'm actually gonna have to go ahead and do like a sub box like that.
That's it, man.
I got
That's the
this
shit right here.
oddball GM sub box in there for 210s.
No doubt.
But when I'm gonna go with air ride system.
With this dude, you get what you pay for. This 12 right here,
Yeah.
it'll blow the roof right off this thing.
Yeah,
that's
for
a
sure.
12, that's a 12W6 V3.
Yeah.
And it slumps, man.
Yeah.
It's strong.
Yeah, JL audio is excellent equipment, sound equipment.
When I'm done with this, man, I'm actually really super happy that the body is still in really good condition, like as far as the paint and shit. I mean, you
Yeah.
look at it from here. This hood is gonna go. If you notice, like it's in Fresno, it's super thin fiberglass. This thing weighs like nothing.
Yeah.
The problem is it sat in Fresno in the sun for like 2 years.
Yeah, for
so
sure.
it just cooked the fiberglass.
Uh-huh.
So I was. This will be great for your YouTube channel. I was considering.
All right.
Considering.
Yeah.
I was gonna, since I have to buy a new hood anyway, I was considering swapping the whole front end to a lift-off one-piece lift-off front end.
Yeah, for sure.
And to do
Weight
that,
savings and
to
all
do
that.
that,
in
I
one
would have
piece.
had to gone to an LS1 style front end, so it would have had the glass over
Uh-huh.
headlights and
Yeah.
all that. But I'm not
The
gonna
98
do it.
to
The 98
02.
to 02. It would
Yeah.
would have had to gone to that front end. But because I'm an LT1 purist and I like the 95, 96, 97 look,
Yep.
because I think this look is ridiculously is fire.
Yeah.
I'm gonna keep this same nose. I'm gonna buy another hood. The hood will look just like this, only
For
be
sure.
brand. It'll be new.
Cowl hood, yeah.
Yeah, cowl hood just like this. It fits. I already got all the. I'll redo all the fucking CDs.
The fasteners and everything like
all the
that.
fasteners will be brand new.
Yeah.
But I ain't gonna change nothing with the nose. I'm gonna keep the 95
For sure.
nose, and then at the end of the project, once everything is sitting on wheels, which by the way, I showed you those wheels that I'm gonna
Yeah,
fucking put.
they're badass.
The wheels I'm putting on these from RC Components are gonna be the fucking shit. Double bead locks in the back. Sitting on 15 by 12s. I mean, they're gonna be chunky in back. These motherfuckers. I have to mini tub the car.
Yeah.
I have to get the car mini tubbed.
All right.
So that's gonna be next. Oh, and then I'm gonna
That's
have
some
it wrapped.
that's some fat meat to put back there.
Yes, 15 by 12s.
Yeah, I know.
15 by 12s, mini tubbed. I'm gonna have the rear end is gonna be narrowed 3.5 inches on each side, so the axle tubes will be narrowed
For sure.
3.5 inches. Run
That's the 9-inch.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I'm going to run probably what they call a Fab 9 or an M9.
Okay.
An M9 is the one from Moser. The
Moser,
Fab
yeah,
9
I know.
is the one from Chassis Works out here in Sacramento.
Okay, all
So
right,
I know the guy
You know
who
those
builds
guys?
the guy
All
who builds my
Northern
motors.
California.
The guy who builds my motors at California Street Machine is a good friend of Chris Alston Jr., who owns Chassis Works. So I kind of work a lot of my parts deals through them because
All right.
usually if I can get something from Chassis Works for this car,
Yeah.
and then I just make a phone call and be like, "Hey, what's the cost?" And I usually get a good deal on it.
For sure.
But yeah, I'm gonna wrap this car. When everything is done, the body looks beautiful. So obviously the car would need one of two things. It either needs paint or it needs to be wrapped. And wrap technology nowadays, I'm liking colors, so I'm gonna do this car matte blue.
All right.
So it's gonna come out
So
matte blue.
you're still keeping it with its original
Yes,
blue theme.
I'm gonna keep the
but
blue theme.
A modern spin on it.
I was gonna do black and white. I was gonna do white and black and have all my cars be white and black. But this is the thing. Blue is my favorite color, and this is the only car I've ever bought that's been blue.
Okay,
And
there you go.
Everybody remembers it as blue. So if I bring it out in a matte blue, people will remember it.
Yeah, for sure.
And another thing you don't see on this car that has always been on this car is the Outlaw windshield sticker. For the longest time, across the windshield. I'm surprised they burn into the windshield.
Yeah.
Basically, from one side to the other, it just says in big white letters. It just says
sure.
Outlaw.
Uh-huh.
I always used to run that in the '90s. I put it on this car super early when I had it. And when people didn't know my name at the street races, they would just remember the car. Oh, the Outlaw Camaro, the Outlaw. So it just kind of stuck with the car.
Yep.
So now I need to get a new one made.
And you wonder why the YouTube channel name is...
Yeah, man. Outlaw V2 is Outlaw version 2.0.
So, yep.
This is the original right here.
Exactly.
The blue one is the original.
You know now, what's one of the interesting things? I go a guy from Oakland with a black, well, actually white and black.
Okay.
4th gen Z28.
Mm-hmm.
And the funny thing is, he went with the exact same style hood.
Yeah.
Just like your newer gen for his F body.
Really?
Yeah.
Really?
So that'd be kind of, well, actually,
man.
you're probably going to need more clearance, though, with the cow.
With that, the thing I like about this, the motor that was in this
It would be true, more pure, though, for sure, for the 4th gen. Because now you kind of got like a little bit of a 6th gen taste in there.
Correct.
But, I mean, just for... like the sake of both of your cars and kind of like having the same hood and all that shit. That's just an option to think
The motor
of.
we were running in this car, it kind of requires like what we were doing is when we had my nitrous setup. This is actually when we had my nitrous setup. So basically,
the EFI.
Yeah, I was running.
EFI
I was running
setup.
basically fuel injection. So what I did is I had an LT1 manifold. A lot of people don't know with these cars. So I kept the LT1, which. Everyone was telling me, like, get rid of that.
Because of the Opti Spark and the water pump and all that kind of stuff.
So
that was a little bit of a poor design.
Let's talk about the OptiSpark. So it's good for your dudes on your channel that if you hashtag LT1, man.
I mean, I have an LT1 too, and my Cutlass. So
good. So
I'm familiar.
LT1s are great motors. The weakness of that motor is definitely OptiSpark. Okay. So when we did my car, we were beyond OptiSpark. I went to a crank trigger. And I had an MSD crank trigger, physically a wheel with magnets on it that basically spin on the crank and they go by basically what's like another magnet. So when those magnets hit this magnet, it sends a pulse so that the car knows at what firing order the crank is in. It's crank trigger. Okay. So basically, your crank trigger provides a signal. I was able to get rid of my OptiSpark altogether.
Yeah, for
if you look at my block. My timing cover, you know how LT1 timing covers have that hole?
Yeah.
My timing cover has basically like an aluminum disc, and then it's TIG welded over.
Okay, solid.
So it's sealed.
Yeah.
It's sealed, and then you just run your crank trigger. But basically, your ignition source. Now I was running I had a fast XFI on my car.
Okay.
No stock computer.
Yeah.
Stock computer in the garbage.
Yeah, for sure.
Once you get to this level, like stock computers, you gotta go. It's gotta. Now on this. That's the limitation.
Well,
of
I mean,
cars.
for sure. HP tuners and this and that, remote tunes, and all that other kind of stuff too. Dyno tunes.
And even still, even when this car was running, I had that option to go with like an HP tuner style or DFI.
Yeah.
They had digital fuel injection from Excel at the time. I decided to go with fast. I went with a standalone fast. It was like $1,700, and it ran everything. It ran the nitrous, it ran the timing, it ran the engine.
Well, even on my Cutlass, my E3 Cutlass with the LT1, it was the same thing. I had got to do some tuning because of the VATs. At the particular time when I was doing it, it was only LS swaps going on, LS1, and it was still like $6,000 for a motor that's got like over 100,000 miles and has been beat to shit in someone's Camaro or something like that or whatever. So it was kind of out of my price range. So I went with the LT1 as well for that.
LT1s.
And for it to work in an old school 83 or whatever, because of the chip and the key, you had to delete the VATs, and then they did like a little bit of tuning for me. But I still never got that car right. It's going to turn into a